it's Froggy, and I'm back again with another episode of C14 Dating, so I'm just gonna go ahead and start. My eyes fell on a bright green bottle next to a small bag, judging by the washcloth folded beside it. I grabbed the bottle, briefly scanned the contents before bolting out of my chair. Hendrik, you forgot your shampoo. Oh, his hair's down. Peering around the corner, he already had a towel thrown over his shoulder. I tossed the bottle underhandedly, and he caught it with ease. Oh, thanks. You just spared me a potentially awkward moment there. No prob. Oh, we're checking out the museum. We're going into town. Yeah, and we're going to dance. Da-da-da-da-da, by myself. Okay. So, this time we should focus... but I really like Hendrik. He's so cute. But we need to get some cave in there. We were gonna socialize. We're gonna go into the cave. Socialize. And now we'll go into the lab and we'll volunteer. And then we'll go back to the cave. And we'll inquire, socialize, because we should do other stuff. Cave again. And we'll socialize and study. And then we should game, explore the town, and do some more studying. That looks good. Cave, socialize, cave, socialize, lab, volunteer, cave, inquire, socialize, cave, socialize, study, game, town, study. Perfect, okay. Oh no, we failed in the cave! Aww. You have to find you have a new find to excavate today. Oh, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this one's the whole row. Chisel, which means that this is etch. So not you. You're 3, so that means 3 etch. 2 etch. You're 1, so you're chisel, and you're the whole row here, which means this is done, and this is done, and this one's done, and this is, oh, my 2 is here, so not you, and that should be it. Correct, well done. These are easy. I've been doing these kinds of puzzles for a while. Speleothems. Alright. These clay sediments are a pain. I grumbled inwardly as I swiped the sticky dirt off yet again. I was on my knees trying to finish the last 25 centimeters. I did uncover tiny bones, but rationalized they weren't worth sketching in the grid. There was a sound of scraping metal, and I turned to see Hendrik climbing down the ladder behind me. What a rare sight! You're hardly in the cave, Hendrik. I know. As a geologist, you'd think it'd be the opposite, but here I am now. He surveyed my square, and I started to get self-conscious, wondering if I did something wrong. Hope you don't mind the tight squeeze. He knelt down next to me, and I hastily moved to my haunches, offering him my knee pad. He shook his head. Don't worry about it. I'll just be here for a few minutes. I wanted to observe your digging techniques. After I made myself comfortable again, I leaned forward to start excavating. He watched, rubbing his chin thoughtfully. How am I doing? Is your wrist well? Any pains from repetition? Nope. Sherry gave me some pointers to avoid it. Great. Mind if I borrow your trowel for a sec? Sure. I cleaned it, handed it over, and he grasped it nimbly. I've noticed your wrist is slightly angled. If you're simply scraping or trailing your trowel through the dirt, it's painfully slow. Isn't archaeology supposed to be painfully slow? He chuckled and then held the trowel so it was parallel to the dirt. It is, but even you should be able to dig through a few centimeters a day. Align your trowel like so, then make a nice downward flick with the wrist. The blade of the tool effortlessly sliced through the clay much cleaner than before. Don't be afraid to make large cuts. This helps you avoid blurring the sediment lines, as it's neater and easier to distinguish. Admire his procedure, inwardly panic over him working in the square. No, why would we panic? We've got to admire his procedure. Oh, now we can see it. He's got a little hook thing here. That's cool. His movements were broad yet graceful. It was strange. Even with such a simple action, I could tell he was experienced. I watched in awe. I have to say something obvious here. You're good at this. I've been doing this for years, so I have a slight inkling on how to excavate. Also, he extended his arm upward toward the middle of the square. The trowel smoothly grazed over the dirt until it bit into a slope. Your square isn't entirely vertical. If you're worried about digging too far inward, use a ruler to double check. Thanks for the tip, Hendrik. Geen probleem. If you need me again, I'll be happy to assist. Just don't start taking me for granite. He's so cute. Okay, that was cheesy even for you. Hey, that pun is a classic. He returned the tool to me and stood up. Glancing in Kyler's direction, Hendrik rubbed the back of his head, mulling over how to approach him. Finally, he tapped Kyler on the shoulder. Kyler begrudgingly stared at him before activating his implement. Oui? Kyler's voice struggled to keep an even tone, while Hendrik's voice had a shaky cheerfulness to it. I was wondering if you needed any help or had any quests. I'm fine. I don't need your help. Kyler returned to his square, ignoring Hendrik, who sighed ruefully. It's not the best time to ask, even if my curiosity is killing me. I returned to my work while Hendrik climbed up the ladder, most likely to make his rounds with the other students. Staring at my trowel, I recalled Hendrik's movements, then attempted to mimic them the best of my ability. Slice cleanly, huh? I inspected the work that Hendrik did and made similarly sized cuts into the soil. The clay was sticky and cumbersome, but it was not as bad as when I had my trowel angled. The rest of the day was uneventful, but at least my progress was much better. I stood up and stretched. It was a good time to take a small break and jot down some notes in my journal. I'm gonna get some fresh air. You know, Kyler, you're gonna get hypoxia if you don't go outside every now and then. I'll be fine. Okay, later. Ugh, Kyler hates everything. Aw, I keep failing at socializing. Completely famished by this morning's tasks, I scooted onto the bench with a bowl of mushroom soup. Grabbing a slice of Swiss cheese, I teared it and dropped the pieces into the soup. What are you doing? Adding cheese to my soup? Is that what people do in America? It's what I do. I guess it's common enough. I haven't really thought about it. A few seats down, I noticed Kyler also eyeing my actions before silently returning to his meal. Was adding cheese to soup really that bizarre? I heard a holler behind us, and many of us automatically turned our heads towards the driveway. A tall woman dragged a suitcase behind her. While her free hand waved toward one end of the eating area, Hendrik immediately stood up and approached her. Rose, glad you could finally make it. I didn't think you'd arrive this early. Rosemary, cool. No thanks to you. You practically ditched me in the middle of those core samples. What can I say? Analyzing core samples is boring. Oh no, don't pun around with me, Mr. Ace Geologist. Her stern expression faded, and they both exchanged a cordial grin as they leaned in for a cheek kiss. Augustine and Sherry gathered around her as well. Would it be okay to introduce myself too? Say hello, maybe later. She seems like one of the teachers or something maybe, so we'll leave it. No, it'd feel so rude if I just barged in there and introduced myself. I was a student under Sherry after all. However, I was still curious. I glanced in Kyler's direction. Hey, Kyler? Kyler? Who is she? Rosemary? She's part of the main team. She does lithic work and all that. Stone tools and technology. Huh, that's pretty neat. Usually she arrives earlier to teach students about identifying flint. He trailed off, feeling that his answer was self-contained enough, and resumed eating his meal. Rosemary is... Chantal delivered a concise summary and Joan nodded happily. Of course, that means yet another lecture. If only they covered this stuff I want to learn. Alright, well I'm going to go ahead and end this episode here for today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to see more videos from me, then don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.